Hey, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so let me know who's in the chat because I can't see your names. So you got to let me know who you are, where you're watching from, all that good stuff. Meantime, okay, I'm getting crickets. Hey, guys. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know your name. I'm gonna give it a few minutes for people to join. The smiley face, though. Okay. All right. I'm seeing people are in here, but y'all are quiet today. What's going on? It's not a live stream if the conversation is if the chat is dry. So what's really going on? Held for review. Why is the comment held for review? Hi, favorite diva. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Right. I'm like, I don't know if y'all seen that TikTok video when that girl was like, how it be when you join a live and then somebody joins and then somebody leaves. That's how I felt just now. I'm like, is there anybody in here? Is it just me? Um, but thank you for tuning in as always from Virginia. Um, and for the I guess I'll make the assumption that some people might be new watching right now. um If you are new watching and this is your first time watching me, welcome. My name is Fatima. Yeah, I figured the notifications might just be taking a while because I know it's kind of like that on Instagram too. It's like it takes a minute for people to join. I'm kind of tempted to stream on Instagram too, but I don't really know because I think this conversation might go in a lot of directions today. Like so many directions beyond the actual title that's in the video. So we're just gonna roll with it. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna roll with it. So happy Friday. Fearless Black Queen, what's your first name? Because you always join the live streams too. Thank you for being here. I'm trying to get better at like remembering actual names. And favorite diva, what's your first name too? I know we talk about this all the time. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not the best with names, but I'm trying. I am trying. Yes, Kiara. Kiara ever now. Yes, you were in the Facebook group, I think, at one point. Yeah, okay. So if there is anybody here that's new, hi Janice, Rakita. Okay, did I say that right? Rakita? I hope so. If there is anybody here that's new, my name is Fatima. Welcome to my channel. Hi Nikki. We are about to have a live conversation. I was just waiting for people to get their notifications to join um, the live chat. So we have about like 10 people in here so far. So I feel like that's a good number of people to get started. Of course, it's going to be saved, so you can always go back and watch it. Um, but last week, we had a little conversation, a little chit about where I've been, why I left YouTube, why I'm back to YouTube. And the conversation was getting pretty good, and I decided to do a part two. And now today we're here at the part two, and I'm kind of like, what did I want to talk about? So I'm pulling up my notes right now. If you guys remember some things that we talked about last week that we were intending to go back to, let me know in the chat because I feel like y'all might actually remember better than I do. Um, let's see. So we talked about why I left. We talked about the Airbnb, the Blaze Pizza story. Um, I talked about. Hmm. hmm. So I think where I left off was kind of like up until the point where I moved from LA, right? Do you guys remember? I think that's where we left off. And also, so I was just these live streams are like super casual to me. Um and I hope they feel that way to you guys too, but I also wanted to talk about like just other random things that are coming up. Like I was literally right before this started texting my friend about um the state of like R&B music, women in R&B music right now. Like I just watched Normani's not Normani, Chloe's video and Ari Lennox video, and I just have thoughts and I kind of just want to share those. So if y'all want to talk about that too, we can. Um Rakita says the move, intent, what you're doing now, dating, and why you're coming back to YouTube. Okay, that does help. So I want to start there. So um I guess in summary, like the move was really spirit led. So I posted about this on my Instagram earlier today. I think that was today or either yesterday, where I talked about like really the moments leading up to um moving. So I'm gonna just read that caption in case y'all haven't seen it yet. So it says, okay, yes, Kiara, I will talk about that too. So I said, when spirit speaks, listen. I made the decision to move from LA about a year ago, and it's been the best thing I could have done for myself. After numerous dreams, spiritual guides leading me, and God telling me clearly, go. I packed up my apartment in less than a month, said goodbye to friends, and drove back across the country with my sister to a completely new city that I never imagined living in. Has it been a perfect journey? No. However, as a result, the blessings have been plentiful. The growth has been tremendous, and the healing, my goodness, the healing has been beautiful to witness. Trust that if God is telling you to move or pause, it's for a reason. And even if you don't understand it, trust the journey. Here are a few moments from my final days in LA and my road trip from California to NC about a year ago. This Friday, okay, and I talked about the YouTube, and then I just shared some videos and some pictures from like the last couple of days. Um, Rakita says, I don't have social media and I just watched those videos too. Can't wait to hear the insight. Okay, so yes, we're talking about that today. I'm glad that y'all are on the same page because I really wanted to talk about it. But I was like, I don't want this to feel random, but it's gonna feel kind of random because that's not the title of the video. But here we are. Hi, Jennifer. So, so yeah, so I I very clearly remember the day when I got confirmation that I was moving from LA. And this is the interesting thing about God is like, at least when it comes to me and my relationship with God, I find that like the way that God speaks to me is so interesting at times. Like it's in unexpected ways a lot of the times. So I remember I'm at the beach with my friend Fatima. And maybe I shared this already. I don't know if I did. But if I did, forgive me and remind me in the comments. But I'm at the beach with my friend Fatima. It's nighttime and I hear in my like this like it's like a it's my voice, right? Like it's not like I'm hearing God come from the clouds or from the beat from the ocean. It's just like it's my voice, but it's a thought that like I wouldn't it's a thought that I didn't have. Like it wasn't like it was something I was thinking about. We weren't talking about it. Um there was no reason for this thought to pop into my mind, but it popped into my mind very clearly and very like decisive. It was very much like, this is what it is type of thing. And what it was, you're going to miss this. And I remember immediately getting emotional and being like, miss what? Why would I miss it here? Like about the ocean. I'm like, why would I miss this? I'm still here. I don't understand. And yeah, but I at that time I had already been praying and asking God for clarity on if I should move somewhere else, if I should stay there. So that was like the clear moment. Oh, this lash is painful. But that was like the clear moment where it was like, okay, this is it. So then after that, I took a solo trip to Palm Springs. And in that solo trip to Palm Springs, I basically wanted to confirm the confirmation. I do that a lot too. I'm not sure if anybody else does that. When God tells you something, you're like, let me just confirm the confirmation. Let me confirm one more time. So that's what I did. I was like, I want to get away. I want to get still. I just want to pray and just really get clear. And this was probably in like September, I think. No, this was August. And I remember driving out to the desert, spending like a day and a half in Palm Springs just by myself, just like really not even doing much. I didn't do like much sightseeing or anything. I really was just there. Um, and in that stillness, again, I got the confirmation that I needed. Hi, Tammy. That it was time to go. So here we are, like a year later. Um, so I decided to leave, and on the same day that I left, right when I was like packed up my apartment, my sister came. If you guys went back and watched the vlogs, or if you saw it when it was happening in real time, you know that my sister Wakia drove with me across country the first time. So she came back, she flew back, and we drove back to the East Coast. And I didn't document that journey. Part of me kind of wishes I did, but I was just in a different space. So I didn't document that journey. And I had already at that time made the video saying that I was leaving YouTube. And that was primarily because I wanted to focus on my nonprofit, which is called Soul Beauty Outreach. If you don't know, go to the website, soulbeautychat.com. But really, 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 like when I really sat and got still, that wasn't the real reason why I was leaving. That wasn't the real reason why I was leaving. It was part of the reason why I was leaving, but it wasn't the whole reason why I was leaving. And as I reflect on it now, I can honestly say that the true reason why I left, and I knew this a couple of months ago, by the way, but this is the first time I'm just sharing it with you guys. The true reason why I was leaving was more so because I had reached this point where, and when I say leaving, I don't mean leaving LA, I mean leaving YouTube. The major reason why I decided to leave YouTube was because I had reached this point where like I didn't feel a need to share in the same way that I was sharing before or showing up the way that I was showing up before. So if you've been following me for a while, you know, we've had live conversations like this. I had so many different like series and things where I would just sit and talk about my thoughts and talk about my feelings and talk about life and mental health and all of that. And those conversations really did lead to like the nonprofit. They led to the podcast. They led to the fact that I offer coaching now to clients. They led to even meditation, I would say. So I'm grateful for all of those experiences because they led me to exactly where I am now. But I noticed back in like July of last year, I was like, I don't really feel comfortable showing up in that way anymore. I don't really feel comfortable going online to share about what I'm going through in real time. Because when you share your life online, and I'm sure some of you know this, even if you're like an influencer or not, just everyday life, when you share your life online, people have an opinion. People have an opinion. Everybody's going to have an opinion about something. And I found myself just getting more and more like uncomfortable with people's opinions about my life. And specifically when it came to spirituality, specifically when it came to faith and God. I felt like I was getting a lot of questions that were kind of, and I still get questions like this, where people make comments or make or ask questions that kind of insinuate like that they have an expectation of me, and because I'm showing up a certain way online, I'm not meeting their expectation, and now all of a sudden they're questioning my faith, or they're questioning my spirituality, they're questioning my relationship with God, which I think is just so like, I feel like there just needs to be a boundary, right, when it comes to that. And this lash might not make it, y'all. Ooh. It might not make it. I'm sorry. Don't mind me. Don't mind me, but this lash is irritating me so much. It hurts. Okay. It's just gonna be hanging a little bit. Don't judge don't judge me. I just had to like lift that side. So yeah, so I just feel like there needs to be a boundary of some sort when it comes to that. And it just isn't, right? There just isn't a boundary when it comes to, oh, you share things about yourself online. People feel like they know you, right? Like they know everything about you and like they have access to you all the time. And I just found myself getting frustrated with that. I found myself getting frustrated with people like, I wish I could remember the exact comment, but I know it was sometime last year. I posted, I wish I knew which photo it was. Let me see if I can find it real fast. I just lifted the corner and it feels a lot better. So I think I'm okay now. Um, I wish I could remember which photo it was. Which one was it? Oh, I found it. I found the photo. Let me see. So, oh, they might have done. Oh no, it's still there. Okay. So, so somebody commented on this photo. I'm gonna see if you guys can see it. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, there you go. So this photo right here, right? It's in quarantine, right? We in quarantine. I went shopping on Shein. Okay, I'm like, look, outside is opening. Well, this was in May, so it wasn't open yet. But I was like, when outside opens, I'm gonna be ready. Okay, I was juicing, I was drinking my green smoothies, I was snatched. Okay, body was looking okay. Everything was sitting right, looking right. I was feeling good after going through a really tough couple of months from January up until May, finally starting to feel like myself. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm ready to pop out on Instagram. And this is still like this picture in comparison to what we see on social media on a regular basis. This is, in my opinion, this is still like, if there was like a scale of one being like the most modest and 10 being like the most like just out there, this to me is like a five. Like it's in the middle. It's really not doing that much. And someone leaves a comment and says, are you still a question? Are you still a Christian? Question mark. And I was just like, hmm? This the picture I post. And your comment says, are you still a Christian? You don't say, "Oh," like, you don't heart it, you don't say, "You look cute," you don't say nothing, you just, "Are you still a Christian?" And that type of question, like, I get those type of questions often, right? Where it's like I said, you show up a certain way in a space and people and people feel like they have access to you to judge, to make assumptions, to, um, do whatever, right? And at first, Uh, I guess I was in a petty mood that day. I liked the comment, and then I put, "This is funny to me, LOL." And then she responds and she's like, "Oh my gosh, no, it wasn't a judgmental question at all. Like, I was just curious because I haven't watched your videos and I was just wondering if you're still on your spiritual journey. And I'm sorry if that offended you or sounded judgmental." And I'm just like, "Really, sis?" Because it sound like, mm, I was like, "I don't know." I don't know, but the moral of the story is that being a person that speaks about God often and a person that has social media platform and is very visible in a lot of ways, people feel like they have access to you. And I was having okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm about to jump all around, but like I'll try to stay on track here. So that those type of things were happening and I was just at a point where I was just like, look, I don't feel the need to explain myself. I don't feel the need to be in a space where people see me as like some role model that I have to live up to a certain standard, blah, 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 blah. All of those things are valid. All of those things were true, right? I agree, right? Like either like the picture and keep it moving, but like the extra stuff is not really necessary. So I felt really just like, you know what? Like, and it wasn't just from this comment. I'm not gonna make it seem like this comment was like the needle that broke the camel's back or whatever it's called. But like it wasn't just that. It was just I had just reached a point where I was just like, I just don't want people to feel like they have access to me in that way. Like love the community, love the conversation, love y'all, love the people who really just like appreciate me and support me and all of that. But there's just, I noticed that there's just like I talked about in the last episode, when you are light, you attract light and dark. And there's just some people that although they may be there watching every single moment of your life, they are hating and they are secretly wishing for your downfall and they are secretly celebrating your L's. So it's like those are the moments where I just be like, you know what? I don't really want to be in this space in this way. And that was a big part of why I left because I was like, I'm not interested in being viewed in this way and having to be perceived a certain way, blah, 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 blah. So, hi, Optimist Capricorn. What's your first name? Tuning in from Virginia. Um, so yeah, so that was really what it was. Like, yes, the nonprofit was launching at the same time. Yes, I was moving, but I could have continued sharing my journey, but I was just like, I don't want to, right? I didn't want to subject myself to things like that anymore. And also, when I first started my channel, Robin, hello. When I first started my channel, and I started talking very candidly about things I was going through, I wasn't in therapy. I didn't have the best support from people around me. Um, or I didn't lean on the support from people around me. And I didn't have like thriving, healthy relationships that I could pour into and they could pour into me. So YouTube was my outlet. YouTube was my therapy. YouTube was my therapy when I was healing. So once like at that point that picture I just showed you guys, at that point last year during quarantine, I won't say I was like healed, right? Because we're always healing. We're always going, our journey is always up and down, circles, backwards, like it's all the things. But that was like a peak point where like I was like, okay, that was like a pivotal moment for me where I was like, I don't need to show up in this space in order to feel like I have an outlet anymore. So that's like really, really, really the reason why I decided to walk away from YouTube. And I'm back because God put it on my spirit so clearly that like I need to come back from a space of not necessarily being vulnerable in the sense of sharing everything that I'm going through and seeking that kind of like therapy outlet, but more so to share wisdom, right? Because I've been through so much, I've experienced so much, I'm growing so much that I have so much wisdom that this platform needs, right? And I'll really quickly talk about what we kind of started talking about in the last video was one of the people viewing and my friend Lene, I don't know if she's watching today, but she mentioned Sade Watkins' video, which Sade Watkins is a YouTuber as well. And she posted a video like 3 hours long talking about a bunch of stuff. And one of the things she talked about was like how God's people are being like called to the forefront and how like especially on this platform. And I so agreed with her and I felt in that at that moment I hadn't decided I was coming back to YouTube yet, but I had already had a feeling that I should. I had a feeling that like I should be speaking about the way that God was moving in my life, but I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if people still care. I don't know if, if it's still relevant. I don't know what this channel, like what people expect from this channel. I don't know. I don't know. I kept questioning it. And I watched that and I remember feeling so convicted and being like, you know what? I got to go back. I have to go back because I do feel like there is like this reemergence in a way of Christian YouTubers, but I don't even want to say it like that because it's beyond that. It's not like just I feel like how can I explain this? I feel like back in the day, right? Like back in like the 2014, 15, 16 stage, maybe even 17, when you thought of Christian YouTubers, right? Tell me some of the people y'all thought of. If you know some people that are Christian YouTubers, drop their name in the chat. But like you think of like the woman with the husband, with the house and the kids, and maybe they're pastors or maybe they have some type of ministry and they're very like polished and they're very like commercial and very like family friendly and like you know it seems like everything is like cookie cutter by the book, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like this is no shade to any of those women because so many of those women helped me a lot when I was on my journey. But I just feel like there's like this reemergence of like realness, like real people coming back to this platform and using it in the way that it was designed to be used and not in this like everything's about branding, everything's about aesthetics, everything's about being perceived a certain way. And I feel that way when I watch people like Sade. I feel that way when I watch people like there's this woman named I want to say Ray Rose. I know her name is Ray. Can't remember her YouTube channel. Um Let me see if I can find her to see if you guys. Her Instagram is Ray Beautiful. Her YouTube channel is I can't remember what her YouTube channel is. But if you guys know who I'm talking about, like people like that, like I feel like there's like this pull for us to step back into this platform and to step back into sharing because I feel like a lot of the real people who were making content left. Like it seemed like we all just collectively dipped at the same time. Like we had a meeting and was like, yeah, no. But I feel like there is this call for us to come back and a call for us to continue sharing our experiences. And I feel that way personally so strongly about myself. Like I can't speak for these other women that I just mentioned or anybody else that might create content, but I just feel like there's just like a shift happening when it comes to content, when it comes to social media, when it comes to YouTube. Like I just all of that like cookie cutter aesthetic branding, it's like I do it because it's a part of my job, but it's not it's just like I'm honestly kinda over it. Like, I'm over it. Like, does anybody else feel this way when you go on Instagram, you're just like, "Ugh," and I felt this way last year, that's why I went through and unfollowed everybody because I was just like, "Eh, I could do without this. I could do without every post is sponsored, every post is like, the hair and the make it's like I don't know." So maybe this is a good segue to get into the conversation of the women in R&B because it kind of ties in. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe that's what it is because all of the things that I feel like used to resonate and the stuff that is still happening as if it's still relevant to me it's just like I don't hi Shanisi. Hi, welcome from Alabama. I just I don't know. Is it just me? Let me know in the comments. Like, how do y'all feel about social media and just the culture of content and music? Like, how do you guys feel about this for real? Because for me, something's just not clicking the way it used to. So I just watched right before this, I watched Ari Lennox video, Pressure, and I watched Chloe Bailey's video from Chloe and Halle. I forget the name of the song, Lord Mercy or something like that. And okay, so it's not just me. So I watched both of those videos. And if Normani's video came out a couple of weeks ago, I watched that too. And I just remember after watching all three of those videos, feeling the exact same way. A feeling of like, these women are so beautiful. so stunning, so talented, right? Normani, Chloe, Ari Lennox, all beautiful, talented women. And especially like Ari Lennox and Normani, I love the fact that like these are dark skinned black women, getting all this attention because I don't have to get into that. Y'all know why. So like, and Aria Lennox used to be my girl too, right? Keyword used to be. She really used to be my girl too. But I just feel like exactly a bit much, right? I feel like I watched it and I was just like, and I'm speaking about all three of those videos. I remember watching and being like, why, why so much? Like, why are we doing so much? And Ari Lennox, I would say maybe not as much. Her video, I'll take out of this conversation for a moment, and I'm gonna just focus on Normani and Chloe, and I'll share my thoughts about Ari Lennox afterwards. 'Cause I have a lot of thoughts about that. But like, I just remember feeling like, why is it that these women are beautiful and talented, but they are just now getting this attention, and it seems like they're getting the attention because they are over sexualizing their bodies. And right, everybody has their own view of what over sexualizing is or what sexualizing is, right? And I'm nobody to police anybody's body, especially not another woman. But it's just like disheartening to me to see that like these women have been making music for mad long. They're talented, they're gorgeous, people don't really pay them much attention, but the moment they start showing more skin, the moment they start talking about sex and being very vulgar in their songs, like to the extent of like Cardi B vulgar, even to the point where Cardi B is in the video, it's like now everybody cares. Now everybody wants to pay attention to them. Now everybody wants to stream the music. Now everybody wants like did y'all not realize that Chloe and not y'all, but, like, did y'all not realize that Chloe looked like that for forever? She been had that body. She looked like that on Grownish. She looked like that when she was singing with her sister, when they were doing all their, Solange-esque, aesthetics with all the spikes and the, metallic, like, she's been looked like that. But the moment she does a Buss It challenge, now all of a sudden she's you know what I mean? And then I watch the video and I see, like, how aggressively she's like leaning into this like sexiness, which again, this is no shade to her because I swear I love these ladies so much, but it's just like I wish that there was another way. I wish that that wasn't the way that we had to get our work out and get our name out is by um being so sexual. Like I wish that there was another way. It just makes me sad that that is the way that I feel like so many beautiful black women have to fall on, and this is social media, this is also in music videos, right? Regular people, influencers. I feel like it's so like it feels like there's a shift that's happening where it's like, oh, I want to get the attention for my music and for my art. So I'm gonna go hard and I'm gonna put it all out there. I'm gonna like do it. You know what I'm saying? And let me read some of the comments. Um No balance, exactly. They had to do it to get here, exactly. Mhm. Yes, Lene, I disliked the video. Me too. I just was like, it's not giving. Like, I love you, but it's not giving me anything. So let's talk about Ari Lyrics for a second. Shanice says, Shanice, is it Shanice or Shanice? I hope I'm saying that right, or Shawnese. I didn't like how so many people started giving Ari Lennox the attention and saying she was sexy, so she put on wigs and started wearing. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let me get back to you. I'm excited because this is a conversation that I've had so many times over the last few months. So I wonder if my friend Ches is in this conversation because she's the one that I'm always texting about this. And oh no, she says she's gonna watch later. But yeah, look, and I always joke and say, I should write a think piece about this. Like, I should be one of those people on Twitter writing a think piece specifically about Ari Lennox's transition from being the hippy dippy black girl, airy fairy vibes to Instagram baddie. Can we just talk about that for a moment? Yeah, Nikki, I don't know if you want to pause and go watch the video, but honestly, it's not even the video. It's more so if you go and look at her social media, you will be able to understand what I'm talking about. Because the video is like, it's pretty normal. But so let's talk about this, right? So we all know the IG baddie aesthetic is an aesthetic for a reason, right? Because it's popular, it's trendy. The whole look of, you know, wearing the Pretty Little Thing inspired outfits, right? I don't even have to go into detail. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you are on social medias, on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about when I say the IG baddie aesthetic, right? Face beat down with the lashes, with the wigs, with all that. And again, this is no shade to any of those girls. It's just an aesthetic, right? It's what it is, right? Yale culture, that whole thing where it's just like that's how people look, right? The expensive bags and the trips and all of that, right? All of that whole world of social media. So if we think about Ari Lennox back in the day, when did I go to Essence Fest? I went to Essence Fest, I think in 2017. I went to Essence Festival when Ari Lennox was probably just signed to what's the name of the Dreamville, right? Just signed to Dreamville. I remember, for context, we're at the show. I don't know who she is. I just know she's the opening act. She came out first. She comes on stage. I think I like heard of her name before, but I like didn't really know her. She comes on stage. She has on like Adidas tracksuit pants, black, a black t-shirt. Maybe it's like a little cropped, nothing too crazy. Her hair is in like, she used to wear her hair in like her natural hair with like the half up, half down, but I think she had like 3 buns or something like that. But it was just like, or maybe it was a 2 at the top and the back was out. I don't remember, but it was something of the sort with her natural hair out. And she had on, I want to say like some black, like stiletto, like booties. What she had on. She came out, she sang her song. She barely had any makeup on. And I remember being like, yo, I like this girl. Like she's really, really dope, super chill. It doesn't even look like she's trying. She's just out here just like vibing, right? And this is Essence Fest. And there's mad people here, and that's how she pulled up. So I'm like, I respect the fact that this is her just being her, right? And then we get the Shea Butter Baby album, right? It's giving us sultry, it's giving us R&B, it's giving us plants, it's giving us greenery, it's giving us Shea Butter Baby, right? And I really felt like, it was also at the time Ari Lennox was thicker, right? Like let's also keep in mind that like she wasn't big by any means, but she was thicker. Like she would be considered like a thick girl, right? Um and natural, right? Natural body, natural hair, right? Maybe I don't know, maybe she wore clip-ins or something, but the aesthetic was giving natural energy. And then time goes by and we notice, at least I started noticing maybe last year that like there was just like a shift all of a sudden. Like I would go to her Instagram and be like, she looks kind of different. And I was like, oh, okay, like she's losing weight. Cool. Cause I remember when she first came out, she was actually like, when she first came out, like before Essence Fest and all of that, she was actually kind of like the size she is now, maybe even smaller. Like she was a skinny girl, but she, started to put on weight as she got older, as most women do. And I just remember like recently, maybe within like the last year, just looking through her Instagram and being like, And I remember around the time when I started to notice, it was like when she moved to Atlanta. Now, this is for like the diehard Ari Lennox fan. If you're not a fan, you probably gonna be like, why you know all of this? But I was a very real fan of hers. I watched and I followed. But I remember like she used to always get on Instagram. This was October of 2020, right? So she's like thicker, we see some cellulite, all of that. Beautiful. And like I remember around this time she was doing a lot of Instagram lives where she would just be like drinking, right? She would be drinking like wine, like getting drunk, her Instagram lives. Hilarious. But it was also like, sis, you might have a problem type vibe. And then I remember she cut down on her drinking, she stopped doing her drunk Instagram lives, and then she came back and she was looking like this. And I remember being like, okay. It was like January. And I was like, all right, yes, like slimming down. Like, right. She leaned out, like she just looked healthier. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then, I remember this picture when she cut her hair, right? My phone looks crazy. Don't mind my screen. But like, I was like, okay, yes, haircut, looking slim, looking healthy, amazing. And then it started to kind of transition a little bit. it started to kind of transition to like this, where it's like, okay, still cute, still giving like, natural tease, giving us texture, giving us, body. And then suddenly we got this, which again, right? She looks good. It's like there's no thing about whether or not she looks good or not. But I just started to notice like a shift where I was like, it's not really giving like that natural S vibe anymore. And then we started to get like this is like straight up IG baddie, pretty little thing. Like it's that whole aesthetic I was just talking about, right? So it gradually went from like the more natural look to more of this like sexy Atlanta like thing. I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about. But it was just like this gradual transition that I started to notice. And then I remember seeing this picture and I was like, she don't even look like herself to me. She looks like Dreezy. Like when I saw the picture, I was just like, she don't even look like this don't even look like Ari Lennox. And then that Atlanta water, okay, Lene. And then I remember, we got oh no, not this one, I'm sorry. We got the song with her and what's that girl's name? Wasn't she on YouTube? Queen Ninja? And I listened to the song and it's talking about setting him up and getting him for his money or something like that. And I was just like, and this is like, I don't want to make it seem as if like because the aesthetic before was natural, earthy vibe, that she couldn't have been on her let's set him up vibe, right? Like you could be both, but there was a clear shift that to me happened where she lost weight and then suddenly it's like she became this IG baddie person. And it made me question the authenticity of her as an artist because I'm like, when I fell in love with her at the Essence Fest, she was giving like authentic, this is me, natural vibe, chilling. And people grow and people change. Maybe she really did change into this person because she has more money, more success. She lives in Atlanta now. But for me, it was a no. For me, it was just a no. I didn't like that song either. I did not like that song. Um, I didn't understand the collaboration. And then same thing with what's this girl's name? Jasmine Sullivan, right? They make a song together. Jasmine Sullivan loses all this weight, and she goes from being this sultry R&B type of vibe, and now we get in hotels. And I like Jasmine Sullivan too, but I remember like I caught wind of the title when it was Hotels, and I started listening to some of the songs. I'm like, this is toxic. Like the stuff that's being promoted in these songs is toxic. So it's like these girls that have so much talent, like some of the best voices of our decade, in my opinion, like Ari Lennox, Jasmine Sullivan, Chloe Bailey, some of the best voices I think of our generation. And it's just like, this is how we using it? I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's just okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you for the skin compliment. Um, Shanice says, I was confused by that Queen Niger collab, but I see the it so it wasn't just me who was confused by that. Exactly, Nikki. Jasmine Sullivan has changed so much. It's just like that part right there. Kiara, I think she's still authentic. She's just doing what society wants for her bag. That part right there. That's the part that makes me sad is because I feel like Ari Lennox, Chloe, Jasmine Sullivan, um, I feel like that's what they're all doing. I feel like they're all doing it for the bag to some extent because they know that's what is going to bring eyes, that's what's going to bring attention, that's what's going to bring views. And it just sucks. I just wish that that just wasn't the case. But I noticed that like like how some of them with slimming down that perfectly coincided with this whole change of aesthetic. Like going from the natural earthy girl to IG baddie, that's a huge difference. Like those are two different girls, you know? So it really makes me question like what's really good, you know? Um yeah. Even the music, like you just said, the music changed too. It's like it'd be different if you look like the IG baddie, but or it wouldn't even make sense if you look like the IG baddie, but you still singing Shea Butter Baby. We wouldn't believe you, right? So maybe my thought is like, well, because now I have the IG baddie aesthetic, I can't stay in that lane. Like now it's time for me to go into this lane of like the city girl, Cardi B esque energy, you know? It is sad to watch it happen. It is very sad to watch it happen. And speaking of Jill Scott, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, right? This is why I love women like them and I love artists like them because they are all stunning, especially Erykah Badu. Like when I think about Erykah Badu, look, she's like the GOAT for real because I was having this conversation just a while ago about how where do I start? Where do I start? My brain is like, so having this conversation about this idea of flexing, right? And versus being modest, right? And how beauty is obviously a tool, right? You know, the saying sex sells, all of that stuff. It's obviously a tool to get what we want, to get, you know, what we need, etc. for a lot of people. And one of my friends actually asked me a while ago, maybe like last year sometime, she asked me about when I post like selfies and stuff, do I feel like me posting I forget what the conversation was, but it was something along the lines of like, when I'm posting selfies, do I feel like my beauty gets me more engagement? And if I'm using that to get engagement, and I said, absolutely, right? Because I know for a fact if I was to go online right now and post a selfie with my hair like this and with some makeup on, some red lipstick, maybe a cute outfit, or even just a selfie, right? Just giving you hair, just giving you skin. And I had a caption that was important or deep. And then I posted another picture with just the caption, like just the caption as the image. I would get so much more engagement, shares, comments on the picture of my face versus the picture with just the words, even if I said the same thing, even if it was just a scripture. Like if I just put a scripture in the caption, I guarantee the one with the image of me is going to get more engagement, right? And we see that happen over and over again. So, like, all the things that I just talked about with these women, it's not coming from a place of like judging them for doing what they have to do because I understand it, right? But it's just disheartening to see. So I'm having this conversation about like this whole idea of like flexing and if you have it, then why not show it type of thing. And I just feel like when it comes to that, to me, it's just not necessary. And I think that there's a certain level of like, um, I'll speak for myself personally, a certain level of validation that we're craving when we do that. And I won't sit here and pretend like I've never done it because I've definitely done it. Like if you've been following me on social media from the beginning, you've seen the bikini pictures before. You've seen, you know, the pictures of me wearing like, you know, a really tight dress or whatever the case may be. Like you've seen it, right? Because I've posted those things before. Even just yesterday I posted a photo. I posted that one that I just told you guys about with the caption of why I moved, this one, right? So I posted this. Can you guys see that? I posted that, but before I posted that, I posted it with a different image as the cover image. And I posted it and I was like, nah, I actually want people to read the caption. So I'm gonna go back. This picture originally was like the third or fourth one, like you had to swipe through to actually find it. But I was like, I'm gonna delete that and I'm gonna repost it with this as the cover because I know it's gonna get more engagement. So I play the game too, right? I'm not even trying to sit here and pretend like I don't play the game too. But at the same time, it's disheartening that this is what we have to do. And I think like when I think about this whole concept of if you have it, why not flaunt it type of thing, I feel like if you have it and you're flaunting it, flaunt it with a purpose. flaunt it with a mission, flaunt it with a reason, with the motivation behind it. If it's just to flaunt, it's just to make other people feel away, if it's just to make yourself feel away, then that's different. But I feel like for me personally, at least where I am, the way that I'm thinking about it is like, I understand that beauty is going to draw people in. I understand that people are going to pay more attention if I'm looking like this versus if I come with my hair pulled back in a low ponytail with no lashes on and glasses on and a big sweater. Like, I understand that. But my thought is like, if I'm going to do it, how can I do it and still glorify God at the same time? Right. And to some people may look at that picture I just showed and say, well, you can't glorify God if you're in a bikini. But to me, I think that there's a smart way and there's a tasteful way to use your beauty and to use the things that work for you to get your message across. Because if you actually read the caption, right, it's not this is not if I just wanted validation, right? If this was a picture of me just wanting validation, I would have posted the picture of me straightforward where I'm just laying on the beach, just like, just with no caption, you know? But it's like the point of this was more so I want to promote the fact that one, I'm talking about this journey that God took me on. Two, I'm going to talk about it on my YouTube channel, right? So there is like this web of like you give a little to get a little. So I understand it, but it's disheartening. It even frustrates me when I feel like I get sucked into it. And there's been so many times in the past where I've posted something, I'm like, nah, I'm deleting that because it don't feel good in my spirit. It don't feel right in my spirit because I know that I'm doing that for selfish reasons and not to glorify God. So it got to the point where I started asking myself, and I would encourage anybody else that feels this way or feels conflicted or feels anything. Like if I'm saying this right now and you kind of feel like, that's kind of making me feel away, I would encourage you to actually think to yourself, when you're going to post something, whether it's a photo, a video, a story, an announcement, right? If you're talking about your new car or your new job or your new relationship, whatever it is, asking yourself, am I doing this for validation or or does this post glorify God? And I feel like if we're posting things with the intention of making people feel jealous, then it's not glorifying God, period. But like if someone looks at this photo or they look at, for example, another example, the other day, one of my friends texted me a screenshot that her sister sent her of a video where I was talking about meditation, right? I'm talking about meditation. I'm not talking about hair. I'm not talking about beauty. I'm doing a meditation. She screenshots it and sends it to her sister and says, man, I wish my hair looked like this. Or why can't I have hair like this? And that comment actually made me kind of sad, right? Because it's like this person is looking at me and they're seeing my hair and they're feeling like they're inadequate in some way, right? So it's perpetuating that toxic cycle that social media does, right? Which is you open the app, you see something, and suddenly you feel like what you have is not good enough. And even though that wasn't my intention, it made me feel bad. But at the same time, when I stopped and I reflected and I asked myself, well, why did I post that? Was it to make somebody feel jealous of my hair? Absolutely not. I post that because I wanted to spread a meditation. I wanted to get people to slow down and to actually breathe, right? So that post was glorifying God. But I've had times in the past where I would post a story and it's literally just me. Okay. And I'm not saying that like that's wrong, but it's like check yourself. I've checked myself so many times where I'm like, why am I posting this? And if I can honestly say I'm posting this just for validation, okay, be okay with that. Like if that's where you are, if that's the space where you are posting things just for validation and you're posting things just to make people feel away and to make yourself feel better, okay, but own that. I think I don't want to say I think it's okay to do that, but I think having the self-awareness is like, okay, if that's the lane you choose to live in, that's the lane you choose to live in. Because I've chosen to live in that lane so many times. And I might live in that lane moving forward because I'm not perfect. I might have moments where I am seeking validation for some reason. And social media is an easy way to get it, especially as women. Like it's so easy for us to get attention on social media that I understand why people do it, but it just breaks my heart. It really does. It really breaks my heart when you see the amount of women that just show their body all the time, whether it's celebrities or regular people or influencers, in order to get eyes and recognition. It's just disheartening. And it's just one of those things that I'm just like, I just wish that this wasn't the society that we lived in. Like I wish that people would just read and listen just because, and that beauty wasn't always have to be attached to it in order for people to care, you know? I don't know. I feel like I'm on the soapbox. That's just my rant though about that because it's something that's been coming up a lot for me personally. It's something that I think about often. And it's something that, like, especially having like a younger niece, it's like knowing that at some point she's gonna be on social media. I just that scares me to think about the younger generation and the pressures that they have to live up to. It really does scare me. I remember maybe 2 years ago, I actually vlogged it. I did a self-love workshop for like seventh and eighth graders at this school in my hometown back in New Jersey. Black and brown girls, right? And I remember getting there and I'm talking to them and I'm asking them, like, what does self-love mean to them and how do they feel about themselves? And so many of them had low self-esteem. So many of them felt like they weren't pretty enough. So many of them felt like boys didn't like them and that they had to dress a certain way and look a certain way in order for boys to like them. And I'm just like, and so much of that was rooted in what they see on social media. So much of it was rooted in what they see on social media, and it just broke my heart, and it continues to break my heart when I think about, like, there's little girls growing up in this where they go online and they see girls showing off their body. They see girls getting praised for showing off their bodies. You know, it's like the girls who are not showing off their bodies or showing off their beauty, they're not getting as much praise, and it's just it's just one of those sore spots for me where I'm like, I don't know the answer. I don't know the solution. If y'all know the solution or the answer, please feel free to share. But I don't know what the answer is. And like I said, I'm definitely the last person to make it seem as if I'm coming across as holier than thou because I'm not. I'll be the first to tell you I am not. And you might get a you might get a story of me flipping my hair around tomorrow. So like let me not even say I don't even want to confuse anybody. But it's something that I realize is a real thing. It's something that I realize is so easy to get caught into, and I just wish that it was different. So let me read some of the comments because y'all have a lot of Oh, I forgot to talk about Eric Badu. I'm gonna get back to that. Um, it's a difference between divine feminine energy and lust slash sexual energy. Yes, Nikki. Yes, 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 yes. Shanisi, I've never had a personal IG. I think it's toxic for people's mental health. That comment right there, if I had known what I know now about social media, I would have never. Like, I feel like you are so fortunate that you've never had one and you've never built up this like um dependence on it because if y'all have never seen what's that documentary called? What is it called? I can't remember the name of it. It's a social media documentary. I believe it's on Netflix where it talks about how social media is designed to be addictive. Like it is literally designed to give us a dopamine hit every single time we open the app so that we keep coming back over and over and over and over again. It is literally like a drug. Um yeah, there is definitely a thing that's overdoing it, Lene and Chloe. My good sis, you overdid it. That was not necessary. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Shanisi, about like I don't think there's anything wrong with it either. You know, if your style changes, if your what you're interested in changes, it's just like we all saw what happened though. She got skinny, she started wearing wigs, and all of a sudden she's not being made fun of for looking like a pit bull or whatever they said about her. Now it's like she's being praised. Now she's being celebrated. Let's see. Somebody said they just lost 80 pounds. Congratulations. 80 pounds. That's a lot. Oh, and I see the difference in how people treat me. Wow. Please share more about that in the comments. What's the difference that you've noticed? Um, exactly. that part too, right? Not being affirmed in the household, in your household, whether it's because you don't have anyone there to affirm you or whatever the reason may be, and you go to social media, you get all this praise and affirmation for showing off your body. That is a crazy cycle. That comment, my niece is 20 and she thinks she has to be an Instagram baddie to get a guy, which is weird. It is, but it's like when we think about this culture, the city girls, Cardi B, I love Meg the Stallion, but Meg the Stallion, like it's just promoting this it's promoting this culture. It's promoting this toxic culture of lust and sex and all of these things. And I just wish that there was more promotion of divine femininity, like someone mentioned, right? Where you don't have to do all that. You can just rest in who you are. You don't have to do any of that. You can rest in who you are and receive what's for you. You can receive what's for you. You can still be beautiful. You can still participate in trends. You can still have fun, but you can just rest. You don't have to do the most. I'm reading the comments. Abby says it can start in the home too. I suffered with passive aggressive comments on how skinny I was. Now that I gained some weight, it's a whole new story. Okay, talk about that too. So the people who have had experiences with their weight either being skinny and then gaining weight and then being praised for being thick, or if you were bigger or overweight and then you lost weight and now you're being praised for being skinny. I would love to hear your stories. I don't have a story to share there, but I would love if you guys shared more about that in the comments and we can discuss it. In the meantime, I'm gonna talk about Erica Badu. So this is why I love Erica Badu, because like I just said, examples of people who would rest in their divine femininity. Erica Badu rests in her divine femininity, okay? Erica Badu gets it. This is why she is the mother, okay? Because she gets it. She understands that as bad as she is, Erica Badu is like probably one of the most gorgeous women ever to live, right? Like she's so gorgeous. Body, okay? Body, we all saw her at the BT Awards with Kendrick Lamar. Body for days, face for days, smile for days, voice for days, mind for days, okay? Let's also talk about the fact that doesn't she have like 3 different baby daddies, right? Let's talk about that also, right? Because I think even in that, it's like when they talk about her with so much respect. They talk about her with so much grace. And I'm not praising that at all and saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying like the quality of woman that Erica Badu carries herself as, where it's like she understands she don't have to do all that. She wears her big baggy clothes, her big hat. She dresses however she wants to. She wears whatever she wants to. And you still feel her energy. You feel the energy first. You see the beauty, but you feel the energy first. And I just think that she is just like the most beautiful example of how you can have all of that. You can show it off when you want to, right? But it's with a purpose. Even when we think of the window seat video, it was with a purpose though, right? It was with a purpose. It was to make a statement. It wasn't just I'm just out here showing my because I want to because it's going to bring attention. It was with a purpose. It's like I'm getting the attention so that I can get your attention to see this thing that I need you to see, to get this message that I need you to hear. And I just feel like she just gets it right. Like Erica Badu just gets it right to me. I feel like Lauren Hill is another one that's super beautiful, but I feel like I honestly feel like with her, it seems like the industry and that kind of like it kind of just seemed like she was one of those people that's just like, nah, this not for me. I'm just gonna exit. Like this just not for me type of thing. Which I can't blame her. I can't blame her for feeling that way and deciding that she didn't want to be a part of the industry. But like if you ever listen to her unplugged album and listen to like the one with the interludes where she's talking, like she talks about a lot of this stuff. She talks about how it's just like she's a human, she's a human first, and this whole industry stuff is not real. It's not real. Ooh, that comment right there, Kiara, is a sad cycle with family being your first bullies. Look, in black households, that is probably one of the most truest things I've ever heard in my life. Like, will really be the will really be a bully. Parents, siblings, cousins, aunties, uncles. Even when you grown, it's like they still give bully energy sometimes. Like you do realize I'm grown, right? Like your comments at this point are completely irrelevant. They were irrelevant when I was a kid, but they're definitely irrelevant now. T Hunter says, I got down to a size 6 and I was accused of smoking crack by my family members. When I gained weight back, nothing was said. You can never please people, even when you're just trying to be healthy. Wow. That is so crazy. Wow, wow, wow. That's a great point, Kiara, of why self love and healing is so, so necessary. And I think I'm actually going to start to close this conversation on that point. I feel like I forgot to tell you guys a lot of stuff about North Carolina and all of that. Like we didn't talk about a lot of the stuff I intended to talk about, but we'll get to it in future videos. Because I feel like whatever was said today was needed to be said. So I'm just gonna let the conversation flow. Um, so to that point of why self love, mental health, therapy, right? Why all of those things are so needed. I so agree that like we have to do our part in prioritizing our healing because the things that we are experiencing, this culture that we're seeing right now, this is generations worth of trauma, generations worth of stories being told to Black women and to Black men about what is beautiful, about what is acceptable, about what is ideal. And I feel like this shift that we're feeling, where a lot of us are just like, I'm not really feeling this, right? I'm not really, not really, something about this is not clicking for me. I think that's because there is a real shift that's happening when it comes to really learning to love ourselves, really learning to accept ourselves, and really learning to rest in that divine femininity, right? Because when you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do the most for attention. You don't have to do the most for validation. You don't have to do the most to be seen. You just show up. I think that's something that's so beautiful. When you are operating in your gift for real, you just show up. Just show up. That's all you got to do. When it comes to dating, when it comes to career, when it comes to everything, just show up in your gift, and what's for you will meet you there. Real quick, okay, real quick. I know I said I was about to close, but we will talk about dating a little bit. And I promise you guys, I will make a whole separate video about like, I don't know what the full context will be, but it'll be more so into dating. I kind of want to talk about dating in LA, dating in the South, like just how it's different dating in different places or something like that. I don't know. If you guys have suggestions, leave them in the comments. But like, really quickly, I'll just speak to dating and share that like it's so hard to kind of like quantify what I'm trying to say or like to like condense what I'm trying to say. Um, I've just noticed from so many experiences that I've had that like you just don't have to do all that. You just don't. Like I think I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'm gonna save that for the dating conversation. But we just ladies, we just don't have to do all of that. We just don't. We show up in our authentic self. We show up as women. We show up in our gift. We show up in our grace. We show up connected to God. We show up in that energy, and everything we want comes to us. Period. Period. Everything, all of the things that we want, they come to us with ease when we show up from that place. Like, that's why I'm so adamant. I'm so adamant on like being consistent in how I carry myself, because I've been told before that like I'm modest, right? Or I've been told before that, I'm very reserved, or I've been told, different things, right? Even when like I'm a little like showing a little bit more skin, I still come across as like modest. I noticed something like maybe it was last week. I was like with a group of people and there was like a lot of men around at that particular moment, and I remember one of the guys, he started cursing, right? And he literally goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, like excuse my language," like apologizing to me just because I was there. He doesn't know if I curse or not. He doesn't know anything about me, literally just met me that day, but he felt the need to apologize because he was cursing around me. And you know why? Because when you show up authentically, when you show up in tune, tapped in, and connected to God, people feel your energy even when you don't open your. And the fact that someone felt the need to apologize for cursing around me says, "Oh, I feel like I need to respect this person." Why though? You don't know me. Why do you feel like you need to be respectful and like be your best self in my presence? But that's an example of operating in that energy. Operating in that energy where it's like, I'm just here. I'm not judging anybody. I'm barely saying anything, but my energy is speaking for me in a way that I don't have to dress revealing to get your attention. I don't have to show skin in order for you to be like, "Oh wow, she's here." No. Mm-mm. We'll need to do that. I think I posted about this on Instagram recently. Let me see if I can find it. Did I post about this? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't post it. Maybe I didn't post it. Hang on. Oh, I didn't post it. Okay, I'll share with you guys what I wrote down though. Your light will fill up every room you enter. And this is going to make some people, i.e., insecure, jealous, or self conscious people, uncomfortable. And that is okay. Show up in your brilliance anyway. And then I started talking about, have you ever walked into a space and you immediately notice a particular person, whether it's their smile, their outfit, or it's just something about their energy, and you're just like, who is that? That is their magnetism. That energy can open doors that experience and accolades cannot. That subtle energy is available to each of us through mindfulness, confidence, and trusting ourselves. That magnetic energy has personally led me to job offers, new clients, friendships, booze, and more. This energy will also attract people who don't like you. When we decide to walk in the fullness of who we are, our light will not discriminate. But the gift is that we have a choice. Light energy will attract everyone, but we get to choose who we entertain. Why didn't I post that? That was a great post. Why didn't I post that? But seriously, like just think about that for a moment. Like, and I challenge all of us to think about this on a regular basis. How can I show up as my authentic self? How can my energy shift the room, shift the space that I'm in? It's my goal. It is my goal when I show up in a space to shift the energy off of my energy alone. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything because I believe that if I'm connected to God, if I'm connected to the divine, if I'm tapped into who I am, look, whatever is going on before I get there, that don't matter. That don't matter. But trust that when I enter into a space, I'm bringing peace with me. I'm bringing God with me. I'm bringing that energy with me. So I don't need to bring my body. I don't need to bring my skin. I don't need to bring all of this in order for you to feel like you got to sit up straight in my presence. I don't got to do that. Because if I'm tapped into God, that energy speaks for itself. that energy speaks for itself. And like I said, some people gonna be uncomfortable when we show up like that. Some people are going to be uncomfortable. Like, I just want to let you know, if you make that your personal model to shift the energy when you walk into a room, trust and believe some people gonna be like, oh well, who she thinks she is, or what she got, like, especially when you're not doing the most. And this is something that I've experienced for, I want to say, all of my life, because I feel like I've had this presence about myself, connected to Godness about myself before I even knew, right? Because I feel like when God is with us, he's been with us. We just now realized it, but God has always been there. So God has always been there. And I remember when I was younger, I would go places, or I would be, I grew up in like a rough neighborhood. I would go somewhere, I would be walking down the street or something, and the girls in the neighborhood wouldn't like me. I would be minding my business. Why you don't like me? Why you don't like me? Because my energy not loud like yours. My energy is not taking up all this space, but yet I'm taking up all this space. And when you think about it, right? When we think about it, I think as women, women who are aware of God, women who want to be in tune with God, women who want to be tapped into who they actually are, which I believe that all of us are if we're on this live stream right now. Know that your energy speaks volumes. Your energy will open doors for you. Your presence will open doors for you that your body won't. That over sexualizing yourself won't. And even if it does, it's not sustainable, because that stuff fades away. There's a new trend, there's a new girl, there's a new person, there's a new something that could easily diminish whatever that was that you thought you achieved by being that version of yourself. But instead, when we show up truly in the fullness of who we are, and when I say that, I mean tapped into God first and foremost, like really tapped in to the plug, okay? It don't matter what you have on. It don't matter how your hair look. It don't matter, because that presence speaks volumes, and it will take us further than any of the other antics and shenanigans that we see in culture and social media. It will take us further. So I guess that's my sermon for today. I had no intention of talking about any of this, but here we are. But I feel like it's necessary, because there really is a shift happening, and um I feel like we just have to lean into this as women, like as women who understand who God is in our lives. Like, we really have to lean into this. And if you feel that uncomfortable spirit when you're watching these videos or hearing these songs or scrolling on social media, then I'm talking to you. This is for all of us. This is all of our responsibility to show up in the fullness of who we are, truly as who we are, in the image of God, not in the image of fill in the blank celebrity that's showing everything in order to be seen. So, yeah, I think that's all I have today. I think that's all I have today. Um, as always, we're going to close this thing out in a prayer, because that's what we do. We need some tea. And I feel it on my spirit to pray into this right now. So, if you are someone that feels like, maybe you've been sharing online or even in real life, showing up, overly sexualizing yourself in spaces in order to be seen and to get validation or attention, um, I'm going to pray specifically for you. And I'm going to pray that if you are someone that does not show up that way and you want to be more connected to spirit and more in line with that, I also want to pray for you as well. So, um, join me, please, in closing your eyes. God, we come before you this evening just saying thank you, first and foremost, always saying thank you, sending so much gratitude to you, God, for allowing this to even be possible, for allowing us all over the world, all over the US, all over the globe to come together to have this conversation. And I thank you for all of the people who will watch this and listen to this in the future. Maybe they don't even know who I am. Maybe they just stumbled across this, God. But I trust and believe that whoever is hearing this right now is for a reason, that you sent them to this live stream for a reason. And you only you know what's on their spirit. Only you know what challenges they've been facing when it comes to how they're showing up and how they're living their lives. But I pray right now, God, that you put a spirit of living for an audience of one in all of our hearts right now, removing this feeling and this expectation of trying to please others and seek validation from men or from society or from culture to tell us that we're beautiful when we dress a certain way or look a certain way or do our makeup a certain way. Instead, God, giving us the courage to stand in the fullness of who you've created us to be, which is in your image, giving us the confidence to walk into a room fully clothed in all of our modesty and all of our reserved energy and still to be connected to your divine presence. That the energy shifts when we walk into the space. That the energy shifts when we show up and work, when we show up with friends, when we show up on that date. That we have the ability to shift the energy simply because we are connected to you first, God, not because of how we're being perceived or what we're wearing or what labels we have on or what fancy items we're carrying, God, but simply because we're carrying the Holy Spirit inside of us, Lord. I pray that you break the bondage of anyone that might be listening that's living in a web of deceit, living in a web of lies, living in a web of seeking validation, whether they are a man or a woman, God. I ask that you break that spirit off of them right now, Lord. I pray that right now in this moment that you reveal to them that they don't have to do that, that they can show up being them their authentic selves, and that who is for them and what is for them will be right there when they do it, waiting for them exactly how they are. So we just say thank you, God, in this moment. We say thank you. I even say thank you for giving me the words to say in this prayer, God. And I ask that if anybody listening right now does not know who you are and cannot hear your voice, I ask, God, that you give them the courage and the strength to seek it, Lord. I ask that you give them the courage and the strength to find support in their community, whether it be through a church or someone that they know online, or even feeling the confidence to reach out to me, Lord. I just say thank you for this platform. Thank you for this responsibility. And in your precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. Hmm. These lives always give me so much energy. Can I just say, real quick, moment of transparency? I was about to cancel this. I did not want to do it today. I did not. I was just not in the space. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. God, I want to take a nap. I'm not feeling it. It's been a day for me. And Spirit just kept telling me to do it anyway. And here we are. So thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being present. Thank you for sharing your stories, your testimonies. I enjoyed this so much. I hope that you all enjoyed this as well. If you're not following me on Instagram, what you waiting for? Follow me on Instagram. It's just my name, Fatima_Farmer. And yeah, share this with a friend. Share this live with a friend. Share it with someone that may need it. Um, and maybe we can start making this a regular Friday thing, at least for now, because my schedule changes quite a bit. But for now, Fridays at this time works. If that works for y'all, then maybe we can make this a Friday thing. Um, I'm gonna go put my lash back on. Actually, I'm gonna take a nap. The lash will come back on later. Um, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about making this a weekly thing, but I'll keep you posted via my Instagram. So make sure you follow me there for updates. This was This was everything. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all really just made my Friday because I was, woo, going through. But I thank you. Thank you for being here. Sending so much love to each and every single one of you. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Hope to see you on Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.